Hey guys, thanks for coming on over here to see how I made the star in the Christmas craft challenge between Susie's Sitcom and Craft Klatch. Let's do a quick review. This was a Christmas themed craft against myself, Craft Klatch, and Susie at Susie's Sitcom. There were two things we were required to use. We were required to use buttons and we were required to use toilet paper rolls. We had the option of using paint, glue, glitter, tape, Mod Podge, and gemstones. I've collected some toilet paper rolls, but I don't have a mass of them. I had collected them for a while, and then I just ran out of room, and I didn't know what to do with them, so I recycled them, and I'm very sorry I did. But I have 8 of them. I only need 5, so if I screw up too many times, I'm going to have to spend some time in the bathroom. I kind of struggled with this because I just didn't know where to go with this, and we were limited with what we could use and what we couldn't use. So I thought the typical cutting it in circles like I did with the Christmas ornament the other year, I thought I don't have a chance against Susie because she does some amazing things with that. So I thought I really need to think outside the box on this. So I decided to make the star. What I did to prepare is with paper I created rolls that were the same size, just out of lined paper. And I started experimenting and I decided I wanted to make a star. So it's a little bit flimsy on the connections, but I'm going to work on that as well. What I liked about it is it's a star, and then we kind of have a star shape within there too. And what I am going to do is flatten these just like this. Now I'm going to trace my shape onto each of these rolls and cut them out. Now you do want to keep, when you're thinking of doing your design, you want to be able to keep these sections here attached. Now I'm going to use some masking tape. Now remember, I'm going to be covering probably everything on this star, so we don't have to worry too much about the looks of it as we're constructing it. You want to be able to tape these pieces, these ends together. And you can cut off any excess tape if you want. You can fold it over. I'm going to do that on the other side and on all the remaining arms of this star. I have my 5 points of the star now cut and taped. Now a lot of the strength for this star is going to come from the tape because I have no other way to give it additional strength. So I'm going to try to get this all lined up, and I feel like it's more or less the way I want it to be. I'm going to just squish this down. This is the part that I haven't really figured out, but I need it to stay in that shape. So what I'm going to do is squish it down, put on a piece of tape like this, flip it over, take another piece of tape, put it on like this. Now hopefully I've got my angle set. Okay, so I have that one, and I'm going to repeat with the other arms. Now I'm going to trim right into here. Get rid of any of that excess tape. I'm cutting only the tape, not the cardboard. If you're feeling any resistance, then you might be cutting into the cardboard. You do not want to do that. And I'm going to do the same on the inside. Now, hopefully this will hold. I've cut the outside and the inside, and now we've got this piece that is staying together. I have a couple of circles here that are just under 4 inches in size in diameter. And I kind of played with the size with paper. These are not quite perfect either, but they're just under 4 inches, and based on the size of my toilet paper rolls here, they fit in here, and this is kind of going to be like the inlay or the insert in the star. So this is what it's going to hopefully look like. So I can't use this cardstock because that's not one of the items that we can use. But now I know the size and I don't have to be wasteful with my very few toilet paper rolls that I have. I'm going to cut one open, lay it flat, trace around it. Cut that out. I'm going to do the same with this other one. Now, I don't want these arms to get crushed, so all I'm going to do is put some hot glue into the tip of each of these, and I'm not going to fill the whole thing up or anything. I just want it to be able to keep its shape. Now the cardboard's going to get hot, obviously, when you do this, so beware. But once that first one cools, move on to the next one and the next one and the next one, and then they'll be able to keep their shape a little bit better. So we know we're going to put glitter on this outer star, and I'm a little torn as to what color to go with. I'm leaning towards silver, but maybe it'll be a silver and gold mix. I don't know. And the inside I'm going to do with buttons, and the buttons are going to range from like these white, but they're all going to be like this pearlized type of a button. Maybe a blue, something like that, I don't know. So I'm going to stay very neutral with this, and I'm going to go with a champagne. And so I'm going to paint the, since I'm leaning towards silver, I'm going to paint the star silver. That way, if any glitter falls off, it doesn't matter. You got silver behind, and I'm going to do that on the inside too. So far, all I've managed to do is make this look like duct tape. So what I am going to do is put a coat of this white pearl paint on there. And the silver's not going to show, but I just don't want it to darken it up too much, just in case. So I'm going to put this over it, lighten it just a little bit. Let that dry. I'm going to flip it and do it again on the other side. For those of you who watch me regularly, maybe you'll remember the summer I went to a garage sale and bought an enormous amount of buttons. This is just one of the jars that I have full of it, and they were at this garage sale. This lady had a tremendous collection of buttons. It was an estate sale, so I scooped some of them up. I mean, I didn't even get half of them, and because I thought, what am I going to do with all these buttons? And they were not the cleanest, they were not the prettiest. I set them in bleach for a couple days, washed them, and they're great. And now I have these wonderful buttons to work with. The star is dry, and we're going to get to that shortly. First thing I need to do is deal with the buttons, and this is going to be on those cardboard, let me scoop this off, on the cardboard pieces that I had before. I cut little slits in there and cut the things just so that they might fit into the star just a little bit better when it gets time to get them in there. So I did that, and I was just playing with the buttons to see how many I might need. And I'm going to take some Ultimate Glue, spread it on, and these obviously do not need to be exactly the same because they're going to be on opposite sides. Alright, I'm going to kind of ice this like a cake. It does not need to be super thick, but you want it thick enough to really be able to grab onto the buttons. Alright, there we go. I'm going to close this back up, and then I'm going to start placing the buttons. And I'm just going to randomly put them wherever I want. What I am going to do is I have these teeny tiny gems, and I'm going to stick a couple of those in there just for good measure. If I have a void like between, I'm going to stick one in there, give it a little sparkle. Alright, so those are tucked in, and now I'm going to just take some glitter and sprinkle it over. And I'm going to use the very fine glamour dust. And it'll kind of work almost like a little grout in between. And then you just want to let it dry and do the same to the other one. Now comes the big part of the project, glitter. And I'm going to kind of mix my own because I want it to have kind of a frosty feel to it. And I'm not doing this in any particular specific amounts. I'm using a lot of this white glitter. And I'll use some of the blue. First, I'm going to throw just a little bit of silver in there. All I'm going to do is put a bunch of glue into this container. Now I'm going to take this glitter that I mixed and put it right in there. I probably put way too much glitter in there for the amount of glue I had, which is okay. And all I'm going to do is brush this right onto my star. And I'm going to do the one side, let it dry, and then I will do the other side. And you see some of this dry stuff that didn't even get touched with the glue? I'm going to finish putting this on like this. And then I'll take some of that dry stuff and sprinkle it right over, just like that. It's been a while since I've glittered, so I'm a little off my glitter game. And I'm going to pat it right in. So I'll let that dry, but I will continue on with the other ones and do the very same thing. Here is the first side. Now I'm going to let this completely dry, flip it over, do the very same thing on the other side. While it's drying, I'm going to try to keep it in pretty much the right shape that I want it, not knowing exactly how the drying process is going to affect the flexibility of it. Now comes the tricky part. The buttons are all dry, and the star is dry. Now I have to work these pieces into the star, and I have my hot glue started, and I'm going to try to carefully put this in so I can kind of get an idea of what I need to do. Alright, now I'm going to take some ultimate glue and I'm going to take a stir stick and I'm going to work it onto some of the spots here, not knowing where everything is going to hit, but I want to make sure I have a little extra protection here, a little extra sticky stuff to be able to hold everything in place, not just counting on the hot glue. Now I'm going to take the hot glue and I'm going to put it on some of these buttons. My goal is not to have it squish out too much. I may have to lay it down this way. So I'll let that first part dry a little bit. And the hot glue is going to help it all hopefully stay in place, while that ultimate glue eventually will help hold it in place also. Alright, now I'm going to flip it over again and push it down. So what I'm finding is if I do it one section at a time, that works better. And I'm going to try to now work this into there. Hopefully there's still enough flexibility for me to do that. And I think there is. Alright, on this side I was able to get it in, and now I'm going to do the same thing with the hot glue. I was able to slip that in. I put the ultimate glue under already. Now I'll put some hot glue in certain spots. I'm going to take one of my little sticks here, get it under, my skewer sticks to get it under to kind of lift it up a little bit. And I have some of the hot glue seeping out, so I'll take care of that once this cools off. Okay, I feel like it needs a little something extra, and now what I'm going to do is add some gemstones to it. So I'm just going to hot glue these right onto the glittered parts. And then if you have a little overrun of the hot glue, throw a little glitter on there and you'll never see it. So here is my untraditional Christmas star made with toilet paper rolls, glitter, and buttons. Now what you can do is you can drill a hole into one of these ends. Remember, we have the hot glue in there, and you can hang it. You could set it up against like on a mantle or something, or against a wall with a picture or something fun behind it. So I hope you like it. Definitely let us know in the comments below whether or not you enjoyed the challenge to see what two different people come up with using the same materials. Thanks guys for watching, happy crafting, and we will definitely see you next time.